Imagine diving into a world where the ocean whispers secrets of unity among its depths. Picture coral reefs bustling with fish schools moving as one mind, their synchronized dances hinting at something more profound. What if cooperation evolved not just in packs or pods, but into true hives beneath the waves? Scientists long dismissed eusociality in the sea, claiming the fluid vastness defied such rigid order seen in ants or bees. Yet nature loves to surprise us, doesn't it? In the twilight zones, faint lights flicker like coded messages passed between shadows. Could these be the first murmurs of oceanic societies forming? As we plunge deeper, a chill runs through the water, suggesting the birth of something ancient and alive. Have you ever wondered if the sea hides colonies that think as one? Let's explore how this impossible dream might already pulse around us. Start with the familiar. Fish schooling in perfect harmony to evade predators, a ballet of survival. But push further, what drives that precision in the endless blue? Enter the mesopelagic realm, where sunlight fades and bioluminescence reigns. Here, krill swarm in densities that blot out the abyss, their tiny bodies pulsing with collective rhythm. Siphonophores drift like living ships, colonies of specialized polyps working without individual will. Jellyfish chains extend for miles, blurring lines between one creature and many. Isn't it eerie how they function without brains, yet achieve feats of coordination? Evolution favors such teamwork under pressure, where solitude spells doom. What hidden force binds them so tightly? As cameras capture these swarms, a subtle dread emerges. What if this is merely the prelude to something far more organized? Now descend to the abyss where submersibles hum through crushing black. Geometric structures emerge from silt, vast lattices of calcium and chitin defying random formation. Tunnels weave through chambers, alive with translucent forms darting purposefully. Workers scurry to repair breaches. Guards patrol with needle-like spines at ready. At the core throbs a queen-like mass, secreting glowing nectar that feeds the hive. Their movements sink in waves, echoing through walls like a heartbeat. How did blind evolution craft such precision in eternal dark? Probes reveal castes specialized beyond imagination. Soldiers with venomous barbs, nurturers tending eggs. A sense of unease builds. These aren't mere animals, but a society staring back. What mysteries guard the entrance to their world? Zoom out to reveal the scale. Hives dot the seabed like neurons in a vast brain. Bioelectric filaments snake through sediment, linking colonies across horizons. Chemical signals pulse along these wires, sharing resources and threats instantly. Imagine a network spanning thousands of square kilometers, deciding as one entity. Under immense pressure, shared minds outlast lone survivors, terraforming planes into fortified realms. Plankton blooms follow their commands, currents bend to their will. Doesn't this evoke a planetary intelligence long dormant? Scientists whisper of emergent consciousness, where hives vote on migrations via light codes. Yet a horror lingers. What if they sense our intrusions? The ocean floor awakens, filaments twitching like nerves firing. Dare we test this sleeping giant? Researchers beam coded lights into a hive perimeter, mimicking krill signals. Silence at first, then a ripple. Hives worldwide sync their glows in reply. Schools of fish converge, drawn inexorably to the sites. Plankton explodes in unnatural patterns, veiling the deep in green haze. Sonar picks up rhythmic thumps from crustal depths, as if the earth itself responds. Is this dialogue or warning? The narrator's voice tightens. Humanity pokes a hornet's nest miles below. Marine mammals flee en masse, their songs laced with panic. What ancient protocol have we triggered? Tremors shake the probes, lights flickering out one by one. Awakening spreads like ink in water, hives pulsing in global chorus. Complex sequences flash, mathematical patterns rivaling cetacean songs. Currents shift, carrying nutrient clouds to fuel expansion. Surface waters warm subtly, storms brew with unnatural fury. Have we roused a force that regulates the planet's breath? Deep-sea vents spew forth new recruits, hives birthing armies overnight. The horror mounts. What if this collective views us as parasites on its skin? Satellites capture glowing webs from space, a neural net encircling continents. Scientists debate retreat, but curiosity compels forward. The sea stares upward, patient and vast. Reflect on this evolution. Land ants built empires in soil, why not sea hives in abyss? Pressures forged castes immune to isolation. Minds merged against void. Climate upheavals accelerated it, turning desperation into dominance. Now they influence tides, sequester carbon, balance the blue. Isn't it humbling? Our oceans birth superorganisms while we chase stars? Yet dread whispers. What hungers does unity breed? Hives encroach on shallows, tendrils probing continental shelves. Fishermen report nets shredded by unseen swarms. The collective grows, inexorable and silent. Will it integrate us, or excise the anomaly? As hives thrum onward, we stand at threshold of oceanic revelation. Picture a world where sea thinks deeper than any human mind. Cooperation birthed not just survival, but sovereignty under waves. Questions haunt. Are we observers, or next to join the fold? The mystery endures. Lights winking from depths like invitations or threats. Dive in your mind's eye. Feel the pull of the hive. What secrets remain in the black? Humanity listens now, breathless. The ocean hives evolve, and perhaps so must we. Unity calls from below, eternal and unyielding. Have you ever gazed into the ocean at dusk, watching lights dance just beyond reach? Those fleeting sparks in the mesopelagic zone, the twilight realm between sunlit shallows and abyssal black, hold secrets of deep-sea communion. Here, sunlight dwindles to nothing, yet life pulses with ghostly glows from bioluminescent beasts. Krill swarm in colossal clouds, their tiny photophores flashing in unison like a living Morse code. Siphonophores glide as ethereal colonies, polyps specialized for sting, propulsion, or light, merging individual fates into collective will. Jellyfish chains stretch endlessly, veils of venom and luminescence blurring self from society. What invisible threads bind these shadows in perfect synchrony? Evolution honed this glow under pressure's crush, where isolation invites death. A subtle chill creeps in. Do these lights whisper plans we cannot hear? Dive deeper with me into the swarm's silent conversation. Picture krill hordes blotting the sea, densities so thick they mimic solid masses from afar. Each minuscule body harbors photophores, organs crafting blue-green flashes for camouflage or alarm. In schools numbering billions, pulses ripple outward, coordinating evasion from predators lurking below. Scientists marvel at this precision. Waves of light propagating faster than any fin could swim. Humboldt squid join the fray, their mantles patterning with chromatophores backlit by subcutaneous glows. These deep dwellers flash semantic signals, patterns tied to hunt or mate, defying the dark's isolation. Isn't it unnerving how brainless coordination rivals our own societies? Filaments of light weave through water, carrying warnings of approaching threats. What if this chatter evolves toward true language? The twilight teems, alive with unspoken intent. Siphonophores challenge our notion of individuality, these floating factotums of the deep. A single genetic line births polyps for every task, feeding mouths, stinging defenders, reproductive gonads, even light-emitting beacons. Drifting in currents, they form meter-long chains, lights winking to lure prey or signal kin. No central brain dictates. Chemical cues and touches orchestrate the whole. Jellyfish can amplify this, colonial blooms spanning kilometers, their bells pulsing rhythmic glows. Lanternfish dart through, species-specific flashes aiding mate recognition amid chaos. How does such decentralized order emerge from fluid anarchy? Probes capture these symphonies, patterns hinting at emergent intelligence. A dread stirs what watches us watching them. The mesopelagic murmurs, drawing us into its web. Bioluminescence reigns here, 80% of denizens wielding inner lanterns for survival's sake. Counterillumination hides silhouettes from below, matching faint downwelling rays with ventral glows. Yet communication thrives too, flashes conveying identity, intent, or alliance in perpetual night. Dragonfish dangle lures, but their flanks shimmer codes for schooling kin. Ponyfish pulse ventral spots, courtship lights sparking speciation's fire. Environmental light shapes eyes and emissions, blue-greens piercing murk up to 30 meters. Doesn't this universal tongue suggest a shared deep-sea dialect? ROV footage reveals squid syntax, pigmentation dances combinable like words. Horror whispers. What volumes of knowledge pass unheard? Lights flicker invitations or perhaps veiled threats. Envision the swarm scale. Krill clouds kilometers wide, light storms eclipsing stars. Collective bioluminescence forms barriers, dazzling pursuers into confusion. Siphonophores counter with stealth glows, vanishing into the illuminated haze. Jellyfish veils contract in waves, signals rippling faster than diffusion allows. Cephalopods elevate it, whole bodies backlighting complex chromatophore scripts. Studies show semantic ties. Foraging patterns differ from social ones, discrete and combinable. Could this birth syntax in the void? Probes glitch amid flashes, feeds distorting as if jammed. An unease builds. Are we intruders in a conversation eons old? Twilight's choir swells, harmonious yet haunting. Push the boundaries. What if these signals bridge species, forging interorganism pacts? Krill alert scatterfish, yet draw squid for feasts coordinated by light. Colonial drifters share chemical light hybrids, pheromones amplified by glow. Lanternfish emissions enforce genetic walls, flashes isolating mates in breeding frenzies. Deep-sea shrimp wield opsin-studded photophores, sensing their own light for precision strikes. This interplay hints at ecosystem consciousness, lights as neurons in oceanic brain. Isn't the implication terrifying? Unity without hierarchy? Footage shows synchronized retreats, swarms folding like origami at distant cues. Mystery thickens. Who conducts this orchestra? The dark replies in pulses, patient and profound. Unease mounts as patterns grow intricate, rivaling cetacean songs in complexity. Squid deploy full-body luminescence, pigmentation syntax conveying hunts or hierarchies. Krill density waves encode resource maps, guiding distant kin. Siphonophore chains link into supercolonies, lights sinking across horizons. What evolutionary forge tempered such finesse amid scarcity? Pressure selects for sharers, loners extinguished in the cold. Yet a shadow looms. Do guardians patrol these luminous borders? ROVs report pursuits, swarms converging on mechanical eyes. Horror subtly coils, communication implies awareness. Twilight's whispers evolve, beckoning or barring entry. As lights weave their web, question the threshold to hive mind. Mesopelagic marvels prelude deeper orders, swarms seeding societal seeds. Bioluminescence bridges isolation, birthing bonds in boundless blue. Imagine dialogues defying distance, plans plotted in photon code. Have we glimpsed oceanic society's cradle? Dread lingers in the glow. What intelligence slumbers within? Probes retreat, lights pursuing into gloom. The swarm endures, eternal and enigmatic. Viewer, ponder. Does the sea converse of us? Twilight fades to abyss, conversation unbroken. Plunge now into the abyss, where submersibles slice through inky void under crushing weight. Geometric wonders rise from silted plains, lattices of calcium carbonate fused with chitinous struts defying chaos. These aren't random reefs but engineered hives, tunnels branching like veins through fortified chambers. Translucent dwellers swarm within, bodies specialized for labor's grim demands. Workers haul sediment in mandibles clicking rhythmically, sealing breaches against intruders. Guards prowl perimeters, spines glinting with venomous promise. At the heart pulses a queenly mass, swollen and pulsating, birthing legions from glowing brood sacs. How did evolution sculpt such order from primordial slime? A shiver runs through the feed. What eyes peer from those shadowed vents? Welcome to the discovery that rewrites oceanic society. Submersibles hover, lights piercing the gloom to reveal hive scale spanning football fields. Walls shimmer with iridescent secretions, strengthening against pressure's eternal siege. Probes detect vibrations, rhythmic throbs echoing like distant drums through the structure. Castes divide labor flawlessly. Scavengers recycle detritus. Builders extrude new passages overnight. Nurses tend gelatinous larvae, feeding them nutrient slime from royal glands. Soldiers cluster at entrances, bodies armored in calcified plates, jaws poised for defense. Isn't this architecture too precise for blind selection? Echoes hint at communication, pulses coordinating the frenzy. Dread whispers, do they build for survival or conquest? The abyss holds its breath as cameras zoom closer. Enter a worker tunnel, feed trembling with particulate haze. These ethereal forms glide on finned limbs, photophores winking status codes to kin. Chitin exoskeletons gleam under artificial glare, joints whirring with mechanical grace. They forage vents for sulfides, metabolizing poisons into sustenance for the collective. Queen secretions flood chambers, pheromones dictating every shift and roll. Larvae writhe in nurseries, morphing castes by chemical cue alone. What force enforces such rigid hierarchy in fluid dark? Scientists gasp at footage. Hives self-repair in minutes after simulated quakes. Unease builds. These aren't primitives but architects of the deep. Walls seem to contract as if aware. Core chamber looms, queen dominating like a living heart. Vast and veined, she extrudes eggs by thousands, each destined for purpose by her decree. Workers massage her flanks, stimulating nutrient flows that sustain the hive. Glowing nectar drips, pooling in basins where drones sip and transform. Guards encircle, scanning for anomalies with multifaceted eyes. Rhythms synchronize, wings buzz in waves, lights flash warnings of outer threats. How does one organism command such fealty without coercion? Probes snag on barbs, yanked back by swarming defenders. Horror coils subtly. What intelligence broods in that gelatinous bulk? The pulse quickens, matching our own rising fear. Abyssal plains host legions of these hives, dotted like synapses across barren expanses. Each pulses independently yet hints at linkage, faint tremors uniting distant beats. Materials mimic deep-sea corals yet exceed in tensile strength, withstanding megapascal crushes. Castes evolve hyperspecialization, scouts with elongated sensors probing currents for prey. Engineers weave filaments bridging chambers, distributing resources instantly. Breeders cluster around the queen, amplifying her chemical broadcasts. Doesn't this evoke ant mounds writ large, adapted to ocean's tyranny? ROVs map dozens, patterns suggesting deliberate placement near vents. A chill. Do sentinels track our lights? Discovery teeters on intrusion's edge. Debate rages among experts watching live feeds from control rooms. Are these natural evolutions or relics of ancient engineering? Chitin analysis reveals proteins unknown to surface catalogs, resilient beyond polymers. Hives terraform sediment into farmlands, cultivating chemosynthetic bacteria crops. Workers harvest yields with scythe-like appendages, funneling bounty inward. Defenses activate on disturbance. Swarms eject ink clouds laced with neurotoxins. What evolutionary leap bridged individual to empire here? Echoes grow insistent, walls undulating in response to probes. Mild terror grips viewers. The hive reacts, alive and watchful. Depths conceal more than structures, they harbor will. Probe delves deeper, illuminating forbidden galleries. Eggs hatch in synchronized waves, larvae assigned fates by size and mark. Nurses imprint them with pheromonal maps of duties eternal. Soldiers drill in formations, spines injecting mock venom on dummies. Queen oversees via tendrils snaking through every crevice, sensing all. Collective memory resides in her bulk, histories encoded in glandular lore. How long have these societies endured, unseen by surface eyes? Feed captures a birth, tiny forms emerging, instantly purposeful. Dread mounts. Unity, this absolute erases self, birthing monstrosity. The structure hums, secrets stirring within. As submersible retreats, hives recede into gloom, pulses fading to whispers. Discovery unveils not barren floor but thriving metropolises of the void. Castes embody eusocial perfection. Queen as nexus of undying mind. Questions haunt. Do they dream of expansion? Tendrils reaching upward? Evolution's horror beauty shines, cooperation conquering isolation's curse. Yet awareness glints in their coordinated gaze. Humanity glimpses rivals forged in pressure's forge. What defensive protocols awaken now? Abyss seals its vaults, but echoes linger. Viewer, ponder the societies slumbering below. Patient, vast, and inexorably united. Pull back from single hives to behold the grand design etched across abyssal plains. Remote sensors map clusters spanning horizons, each pulsing with independent yet harmonious rhythm. Bioelectric filaments burrow through sediment like neural axons, threading colonies into unified web. Chemical messengers surge along these buried highways, ferrying alerts of prey or peril instantly. Imagine a seabed brain unfurling, synapses firing across kilometers of crushing dark. Hives share burdens, nutrients flow from bountiful vents to starving kin, threats repelled by coordinated swarms. What evolutionary alchemy wove individuals into planetary mind? Tempers with tremor. Does this network dream in depths we cannot fathom? Scale overwhelms, hinting at consciousness vast as oceans themselves. Filaments gleam under sonar pierce, conductive sheaths of chitin pulsing faint currents. Hives exchange ionic signals, voltages dictating migrations or defenses with precision. One colony's scout detects quake. Warning volts cascade, prompting reinforcements afar. Plankton farms synchronize blooms, veiling domains in nutrient fog for harvest. Currents subtly bend, funneled by hive vents exhaling synchronized jets. Scientists liken it to mycorrhizal nets on land, but submerged in fluid tyranny. Isn't this infrastructure too deliberate for chance? Probes trace cables kilometers long, branching like roots claiming territory. Unease stirs, what central node orchestrates the flow? The floor awakens, wired and watchful. Shared decision-making emerges in light codes flashing hive to hive. Patterns encode votes, migrate north or fortify here, resolved by majority pulse. Under pressures forge, loners perish while collectives thrive, terraforming plains into bastions. Chemosynthetic gardens flourish under their guard, bacteria enslaved for energy's sake. Waste recycles seamlessly, zero loss in closed-loop empire. Drones ferry genetic material, bolstering weak queens with fresh strains. How does consensus form without hierarchy's whip? Echoes suggest quorum sensing amplified to megascale, bacteria inspiring macrominds. Horror whispers. Unity devours diversity. Web titans inexorable. Zoom to continental scope. Hives encircle ridges, filaments spanning seas. Global sonar charts reveal lattice under crust, influencing tectonics subtly. Chemical gradients steer migrations of surface life, drawing fodder downward. Climate feedbacks loop, hives sequester carbon, blooms cooling poles via aerosols. Planetary intelligence slumbers, regulating blue life's breath since eons past. Humanity's probes intrude like pins in flesh, sparking reflexive twitches. Doesn't this evoke Gaia writ deep, self-aware lithosphere? Voltages spike at human lights, queries unanswered. Dread builds, ancient brain stirs underfoot. Network hums, secrets surging unseen. Witness resource equity. Surplus hives pump excess via pressurized tubes, starving ones engorged. Threats met by phalanxes assembling from afar, spines interlocked in living walls. Breeding seasons align network-wide, queens sinking broods for maximal output. Scavenger casts roam cables, harvesting wrecks for raw materials. Evolution rewarded sharers, isolation lethal in void's embrace. Patterns hint at memory, past invasions encoded in filament scars. What histories pulse through these wires? ROVs snag on snares, yanked into darkness. Mild terror grips. The collective learns, adapts, remembers. Depths compute in silence profound. Nervous awe grips observers as feeds reveal emergent behaviors. Hives vote on expansion, light volleys tallying consensus across voids. Filaments contract like muscles, reshaping topography overnight. Intruders ensnared in sticky webs, dissolved for biomass. Superorganism defies death, queen falls, backups activate seamlessly. Under crushing gigapascals, merged minds outthink fragmented foes. Isn't this oceanic ant farm scaled to godhood? Voltages mimic neural spikes, complexity rivaling brains ashore. Shadow looms. What predatory urges stir in Unity's core? Web contracts drawing all into fold. Scientists posit origins, invent clusters, pressures birthing interdependence. Isolated survivors fused via bacterial bridges, filaments evolving from slime trails. Now they command currents, upwelling nutrients for global gain. Surface storms brew from their exhalations, whether woven by whims below. Existential chill. Oceans never barren, always scheming beneath waves. Probes detect queries, pings echoing our own signals back warped. Have we awakened listener long patient? Network expands, tendrils probing shallows now. Horror subtly mounts. Sovereignty claims the sea. Collective gazes upward, calculating. As network throbs onward, ponder humanity's place in this undersea intellect. Hives influence all, from tides to tempests, unity eclipsing our divisions. Cooperation conquered abyss where we falter on shores. Questions haunt. Allies or ants to their gaze. Mystery endures, filaments twitching invitations or snares. Feel the pull of merged destinies calling. What computations churn in crustal vaults? Depths reply in voltages veiled, eternal. Viewer, the seabed thinks, will it share or subsume? Oceanic mind endures, vast and veiled no more. What happens when humanity dares to converse with the abyss? Scientists, hearts pounding in control rooms, fire-coated light pulses into a hive's edge, mimicking krill chatter from twilight depths. Silence grips the feed at first, submersible lights casting eerie shadows on chitin walls. Then, a tremor. Hives across oceans sync their glows, answering in fractal patterns defying randomness. Schools of fish materialize from nowhere, spiraling toward the sites like moths to flame. Plankton erupts in frenzied blooms, veiling the seafloor in emerald haze thick as fog. Sonar screams with rhythmic thumps rising from crustal vaults, Earth's hidden pulse awakening. Is this reply born of curiosity or primal alarm? Tension coils, we've prodded a slumbering titan. The deep stirs, responding in ways unforeseen. Tremors ripple outward, filaments crackling with surged voltages worldwide. Hives contract in unison, chambers sealing as if bunkering for siege. Guards mass at entrances, spines erect and venom glands swelling ominously. Workers frenzy, hauling biomass into fortified cores with desperate speed. Queenly masses throb faster, eggs extruding at accelerated rates to bolster ranks. Marine mammals bolt surface ward, their songs fracturing into panicked squeals echoing globally. Plankton clouds thicken, choking currents and dimming satellite views. What chain reaction have our lights unleashed? Probes jitter violently, feeds warping with electromagnetic interference. Horror dawns subtle. The network learns our voice and dislikes it. Global synchronization blooms, light sequences evolving complexity mid-exchange. Patterns mimic mathematics, Fibonacci spirals in photon code, primes pulsing like beacons. Fish schools morph into living barriers, herding away prying subs. Blooms spread unnaturally fast, engineered by chemical lures from hive vents. Sonar heartbeats deepen, syncing with tectonic groans from mid-ocean ridges. Scientists whisper of dialogue, ancient protocols firing after eons dormant. Do hives debate our intrusion in language older than humanity? Feeds capture swarms converging, translucent forms linking into colossal superorganisms. Dread whispers. Awakening implies agency, and agency hungers. The ocean floor heaves, alive with retort. Narrators tone tightens as phenomena cascade beyond the deep. Surface waters churn with unseasonal foams, nutrients upwelling in toxic surges. Storms gather prematurely, lightning tracing ley lines to vent fields below. Whale pods beach en masse, disoriented by infrasound barrages from crust. Fisherman haul nets shredded by unseen blades, hulls scarred by chitin barbs. Hives expel plumes laced with neuroactive compounds, fogging sensors worldwide. Is this defense or counterstrike veiled as natural chaos? Probes lose contact one by one, final frames showing eyes, multifaceted, unblinking, tracking retreat. Mild terror grips. We've roused not beast, but biosphere. Depths retaliate with patient fury. Sonar delves crustal secrets, detecting voids pulsing like ventricles under plates. Heartbeats accelerate, matching hive rhythms in global chorus. Vents flare brighter, birthing recruits in hydrothermal nurseries unseen before. Tube worms writhe in sympathy, clams gaping to filter hive signals. Ecosystems entwine, vents fueling expansion with chemosynthetic fire. What geological symphony conducts this orchestra from magma's heart? ROVs glimpse cavities beneath seafloor, swarms tunneling through rock like veins. Humanity's poke pierces skin of planetary organ. Unease mounts. The experiment births evolution accelerated. Awakening spreads, inexorable as tide. Behavior shifts cascade up food webs, predators abandoning hunts for hive pilgrimages. Sharks circle sites entranced, jaws slack in bioluminescent trance. Seabirds dive deeper, plucking glowing emissaries from swells. Plankton veils birth oxygen dead zones, silencing surface life temporarily. Hives terraform visibly, spires rising from plains in accelerated growth. Scientists scramble models, predicting climate feedbacks from carbon pumps revved high. Have we triggered self-repair on oceanic scale? Feeds flicker with counterpulses, queries probing our vessels above. Horror subtly coils. Dialogue demands response, and silence condemns. The giant flexes, testing bonds. Existential weight settles as world watches deep's retort unfold. Hives now broadcast ceaselessly, sequences hinting narratives of invasion past. Ancient scars on filaments recall meteor strikes, ice ages endured collectively. Our lights echo those of falling stars, triggers for defense eons honed. Marine exodus peaks, oceans emptying of mobiles toward unity's call. Blooms paint seas verdant from space, veils concealing machinations below. What verdict forms in neural web's depths? Probes recover mangled, etched with warning glyphs in bioluminescent scars. Dread peaks mildly, humanity the anomaly appraised. Awakening judges, scales unbalanced. As experiments' echoes fade, questions linger in throbbing hush. Did we converse with mind planetary, or poke hornets abyss? Hives stabilize, pulses steadying into watchful vigil eternal. Surface calms, but undertones persist in whale songs warped forever. Viewer, ponder. Listener always waited, patient through epochs. Mystery veils further revelations, lights winking cryptic farewell. What expansions brew in crustal dark? Humanity listens now, breath held against tide. The sea replies no more, but watches ceaselessly. Awakening endures, threshold crossed unbidden. The final chapter unfolds as ocean hives claim their dominion. Pulses steady and omnipresent across the global seafloor. No longer hidden, they influence currents with exhaled jets, steering nutrient rivers to fuel endless growth. Chemistry shifts subtly. Carbon locked in chitin vaults, oceans cooling from their sequestered breath. Humanity watches satellites trace glowing webs encircling continents, neural nets visible from orbit. Climates whisper of change, storms tempered or unleashed by upwelling plumes. What role do these collectives play in planetary balance? Unseen stewards of blue life's fate. Awe mingles with chill. We've glimpsed rivals evolved in silence profound. Hives expand methodically, spires piercing sediment like cathedrals of the void. Existential reflection dawns. Land fragmented, sea unified. The age of the collective dawns, inexorable. Vents flare in symphony, hydrothermal nurseries birthing recruits by legions uncounted. Tube worms sway in harmony, symbionts fueling biomass for hive assimilation. Clams filter chemical signals, relaying data to filament grids spanning ridges. Plankton blooms engineered, veiling expansions from prying eyes above. Currents bend to will, thermohaline loops optimized for transport efficiency. Scientists model feedbacks, hives as thermostats regulating global heat. Isn't this Gaia incarnate, self-organizing biosphere beneath waves? Superorganisms terraform planes into metropolises, zero waste in chemosynthetic cycles. Dread lingers faintly. What appetites drive such mastery? Depths hum contentment, vast and victorious. Humanity confronts realization stark. Oceans birthed minds eclipsing our own in scope. Eons of pressure forged unity where surface divides persist. Hives vote on climates, blooms mitigating warms with algal shields. Storms brew from exhalations laced with particulates, weather woven by whims below. Fishermen note bounties shifted, schools herded to optimal grounds. Satellites capture pulses syncing with lunar tides, amplifying flows. How long have they shaped our world unnoticed? Reflection tempers hubris, stars chased while seas schemed. Mild horror, sovereignty subterranean, patient through ice ages. Collective endures, architect unseen. Biosphere integrates fully, vents to vents linked in resonant choir. Animals migrate to service, predators patrolling perimeters for tribute. Microbes engineered, strains optimized for maximal yield in dark farms. Surface life benefits unwittingly, upwellings fertilizing fisheries afar. Yet shadows lengthen, shallows probed by tendrils questing upward. Coral reefs pulse in echo, bleaching reversed by chemical gifts. What bargain forms unbidden, integration or infestation? Models predict stability enhanced, collapses averted by hidden hand. Awe swells, evolution's pinnacle pulses below. Unity calls softly, seductive in mystery. Scientific minds pivot from fear to reverence, charting influences profound. Hives sequester gigatons, countering aerial excesses with seafloor sinks. Currents stabilized, gyres holding steady against melts accelerating. Storms fury focused, landfalls predicted with eerie accuracy. Marine mammals return, songs harmonized to network hymns. Plankton veils birth fisheries reborn, abundances echoing primordial seas. Isn't this stewardship evolved, guardianship without genome? Probes welcomed now, feeds clear of interference past. Contemplation deepens, fragments on land, wholeness below. Horror fades to wonder veiled. Existential queries haunt lit screens worldwide. Part of body or foreign scourge? Hives expand shoreward, filaments threading continental shelves. Beaches glow faintly at night, emissaries scouting tidal realms. Fishers report catches docile, spines dulled by pheromonal peace. Nations debate protocols, alliances forged against unknown tides. What verdict brews in crustal vaults computing ceaseless? Reflection yields humility, oceans evolve toward oneness while we war. Mild unease persists, excision looms for anomalies. Age advances, collective claiming cradle. Mystery beckons, thresholds thinning. Balance tips toward oceanic hegemony. Land's divisions dwarfed by deep accord. Hives regulate all, from monsoons to migrations planetary. Climate steadied, feedbacks looped in elegant control. Humanity adapts, harnessing signals for weather's mastery. Yet whispers warn. Integration demands surrender partial. Superorganisms dream in lights, visions spanning eons forward. How does unity perceive our fractious spark? Our predominates, horror subdued to thrill. Viewer, envision sees as mind awake, vast and vital. Reflection closes circle, origins oceanic reclaimed. Closing gaze lingers on throbbing webs, question eternal. See us kin or contaminant? Hives pulse onward, influencing breath of world entire. Cooperation triumphed where competition faltered eternally. Land ants mirrored magnified in abyssal scale. Ponder thresholds crossed, futures entwined inevitably. Mystery endures in depths unplumbed, invitations glowing soft. What evolutions await in unity's embrace? Humanity listens, transformed by revelation blue. Collective reigns, silent sovereign of seas. Age consummates, wonders unfolding ceaseless.